Ladies and gentlemen, crypto is in a really crazy spot right now. And honestly, I think there are two main things going on that everybody needs to be made aware of. On the one hand, we have a Donald Trump coin and some very big discussions around it, even a $100 million bet between the pharma bro, Martin Shkreli, and GCR. We'll talk more about that. It's alleged that Baron Trump was involved together with Martin Shkreli, perhaps an Andrew Tate and a couple of others to create the coin. But when a $100,000 bounty went out for finding who exactly made the coin, things got really interesting. We'll talk about it. And second of all is slightly underneath there, this message right there, which states, just in, the SEC permanently suspended its investigation into Ethereum. In the midst of that, I've also noticed that Twitter all of a sudden has started to get really weird here, with almost nobody knowing what's going on anymore. The articles, the news, the decisions getting crazier than ever before. And so Minister of NFTs said, did anyone already try this? Kind of like resetting our crypto, because as I told you, it is a really crazy spot. So to kick it off, yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, made a post over on X, on Twitter, that stated, anybody that right now is looking at the Donald Trump type of coins, just know that it's fake, at least most likely. Anyway, where this whole story started for me was when Pirate Wires, didn't really know about it before, but a pretty legit looking news outlet made the following post. Per conversations, Trump is launching an official token, DJT, on Solana, and Baron is the one spearheading it. After that came out, obviously, a lot of people speculated for and against it, which made sure that the price of the coin, well, I guess the price doesn't really matter, but the market cap went to $400 or $500 million. So it was not a small thing. It went really hard, really fast. Now, there were a couple of red flags, though. It mostly had to do, however, with the fact that there was no confirmation that Trump was involved and that the liquidity wasn't locked, meaning a rug would be a lot more doable and very likely here. Rug pull meaning they take out the liquidity or potentially just sell all the coins. But in this case, pulling the liquidity was a possibility because the liquidity wasn't locked. And if you don't know, liquidity is necessary to facilitate swaps. In different words, to be able to trade on a DEX, you need to put in tokens and, for example, Solana, so people can actually buy and sell both. The person putting the initial, or perhaps later even more, into the pool often decides to lock it for, let's say, infinite, a few months, a few years, whatever, so he can't just pull out so you cannot trade anymore. In this case here, that wasn't done. Maybe now, but at that point, it wasn't done. But anyway, since the coin went so hard to hundreds of millions of dollars, it went pretty crazy, there was Arkham, right? And this is like a project that very often comes on in when crazy shenanigans in crypto is happening. And they said, screw it, we ball. $150K to the first person to definitively prove the identity of the creator of Donald J. Trump's coin. Only on Arkham Intel did they put up crazy bounties like this. You got about a week, and that was after, if you're wondering, Mr. Martin Shkreli joined the game. Now, there's a lot to go through here, but I'll summarize it really briefly. There's a very famous Twitter account. Well, I guess a group of accounts, but basically an individual, perhaps it's an entity, meaning more people don't actually officially know, that goes by the name GCR. What he's really famous for the most part, is big bets, with the biggest one being the one that Luna was going to go down. There was a $20 million bet on it like 2 years ago or so, and he shorted Luna with $20 million at like $80 a coin. Don't know exactly where it is at, so again, he put up a $20 million bet on Luna. There's a long story here, but you can understand that that's a lot of profit. Oh, maybe it was a $10 million trade. I don't know. I don't care. But obviously, since the price went from whatever he bought it at, let's say $75. Oh, here, actually, open price $90 to 0.001 or whatever. That's potentially, depending on when he closed it, hundreds of millions, perhaps $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion, $10 million. Who knows? A lot of money, right? A lot of money. And he's not said anything for the last couple of years, and every time he does, things in crypto get a little bit crazy, which is why I said that people are talking about we need to reset the disk for crypto a little bit here. Anyway, so 𝗕𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀 retweeted this pirate wire and was going a little bit crazy on things. He was like retweeting all these different posts. Hey, it looks like the official account. Things are getting interesting. And then made a whole live stream or a spaces saying the coin is real. And that multiple Trump insiders were saying that this was a real situation and that people betting against it are basically stupid. And so there was a guy, Alex Weiss, that said, for what it's worth, Martin, if you can escrow, right, if you can find a guy for it, I can bet $1 million that that coin is fake at even odds or more if you want. And so Martin came in and said, you're on. How high can you go? To which Martin said, I know I'm giving a lot of lore, but I found it interesting. Any other whales want to join? Let me know. To which our big baller, GCR, said, 100 million. If you don't have 100 million, as much as you're willing to bet. And he says, done. Your way. Let's do it. So that is that is an interesting situation. A couple of other people try to get involved with their $1 million, $5 million bets, etc. Here, 10K, which Martin also accepted. Kind of funny. And again, Martin is a very, very famous guy. So then after that, a couple of guys like Arthur Hayes, one of the most well-known crypto guys in existence, co-founder of BitMEX, also, if you didn't know, and the guy behind Athena, are all starting to basically accept this as the truth, meaning GCR can't back down, Martin can't back down no more. It's too official. And you can see it got 1.5 million views on this, but there's a little bit of an iffy-wiffy, which is Alex Weiss said, for what it's worth, Martin, if you can escrow, I can bet $1 million that it's fake, right? But what is fake? Because GCR now later on said, the only way this is real is if Donald J. Trump himself says he launched a meme coin himself. I'm very well aware there's a capital strategy to bribe, this is like a really new thing, bribe people in the Trump orbit to pretend they had something to do with this, when in reality, a cabal of crypto whales did a pre-sale and allocation to KOLs. This is important. Because now, when we start looking into how this came to be, right, remember, I have a little blanket if you're wondering. When I'm reading through the juice like this, I get a little bit cold, you know? And also, let me know down below if this is the type of news you like covered, or if you don't care about this at all because it doesn't necessarily instantly affect your investments. For me, this was one of the craziest stories of ever, I guess, when it comes to crypto, because it just makes our whole industry look so unserious. And it makes me realize we are so out of touch that they're betting $100 million and we're kind of laughing about it. And they're betting it on the stupidest of things, which only in crypto. So Zach said, for those who are confused, they need a little bit of additional context. Earlier today, Arkham announced a $150,000 bounty for the identity of the DJ Tay creator. At 11:49 p.m., I replied to Arkham saying I submitted for the bounty. 11:57, Martin Shkreli panic DMs me. 12:27, Martin Shkreli creates a space and announces he is the creator of DJT. Whereas before he made a talk saying he was not, so that was kind of a lie, I guess. And so, like I said, a few hours after it was created, Zach posted his submission to hopefully claim the 150K bounty. Then he has a screenshot of his DM where Andrew Tate says, hey, Baron called me yesterday to buy in, but it was 1 a.m. Told my team, woke up 9 hours later, told Baron to give me the amount of tokens I would have gotten from the buy-in at the time, and I'll pump it, but don't think he can. Martin says, I know, I just think you can say it's real and this will be done. Maybe, I'm not sure. And then again, the conversation is between us, please. I have over 1,000 pieces of evidence. I created it with Baron. This is between Zach XBT, the kind of like explorer, I should say, and Martin Shkreli. He then went on to create a space saying, hey, $100 million paging at 𝗂𝗊. 𝗂𝗊 is the guy everybody goes to for these big escrows because he doesn't need the money. He's one of the crypto OGs, so to speak, and because he's like the go-to guy for it. So, yeah. Because, again, the problem with betting is, or when it comes to this crypto type of stuff, you can say, oh, you know, I'm going to put $100 million forward. But then all of a sudden the other side wins, you don't pay out. Or you're betting with more than you actually have, like could have happened here. So in this instance, both send 100 million over, you see the result, and then a guy like 𝗂𝗊 here will pay out the right side. Again, I keep realizing now that it sounds really absurd to say, oh, just let a guy hold on to 200 million for a little bit, right? He's going to pay out. It's kind of crazy, but it doesn't seem that weird. Anyway, one of the largest Donald Trump DJT insiders, VersoSol, dumping about 800K worth of DJT and then depositing USDC to a centralized exchange an hour ago, coincidentally also a large holder of Martin's other project, Shoggoth, right? What he's doing is just analyzing that one of the insiders was also an insider, basically, or at least a big holder of one of our 𝗕𝗫𝗀𝗀 other projects. And then some jokes went around. Person said, turns out prison really is so not so bad that the man's apparently trying to go back in because he just, I don't know when he got out of prison a while back. And then a conversation pops up. Not sure if this is real. I cannot confirm, but this is what Zach also shared. Should we expose the insider friends Martin was telling to buy prior to the Mike Solana / Wires post? Because again, Mike Solana also said, hey, this is quote unquote real by reposting. I created this for Trump. News coming out immediately. DJ Taylor Solana, and there's the contract. And now it's mostly just getting receipts. So a guy that claimed to be really involved with Barron for many months at least, apparently was also involved, it says right here. And man, this story gets so interesting the more you dive into it, but yeah. Anyway, a lot of people who are involved are right now deleting tweets and perhaps privating their profiles, getting rid of the evidence. Anyway, so then a couple other things got kind of trending. For example, that Andrew Tate was involved in the fact that right now he's flaunting about potentially buying $40,000 worth of something, while the rest of crypto is talking about $100 million bets, and he claims to be so wealthy but also wanted to be involved with this grift. Having said that, there's also an ongoing joke that Ansem, one of the guys who, he made a statement a while back saying, hey, if you're a celebrity and trying to get into crypto, contact me first. So there's a joke. That's crazy that Barron Trump, Andrew Tate, Martin Shkreli were all involved in creating this token. Not once did anybody stop to consider whether they should consult Ansem first. Martin says they did actually, and that kind of made me realize, even though I thought it was a joke, that perhaps this type of stuff is so much bigger than we think. Anyway, so two new parts get interesting. One is Shkreli potentially not being allowed to do any of all this stuff, so since he's on parole, he's have to go back to jail. But I guess that brings up the question of, when it comes to all this crypto stuff, creating new tokens, all the rules for it, just look at the whole SEC lawsuit against Ethereum that we just talked about. You know, what is allowed and what is not? What is fraud? What is like a financial thing that you can't do? Especially since he already had some issues before. Was this fine? And another one is, if it was really Donald Trump, would that be allowed? It's hard. Then again, he did lie in a couple of places here, or Mr. Martin, because he before in his space said he didn't create the token or own it, but now later on he said, no, it's me actually, here's proof, when push came to shove. Now also I'll say that yes, crypto's in a really crazy spot, not only because GCR is back, you know, it means something, but not everything, but mostly because he's taking bets again, and perhaps that means, hey, this is the bottom of the bottom, up from here, you know, floor has been reached. 2022 bet was in the middle of a bear market. The current structure reminds me more of a late summer of 2020 after the DeFi summer imploded, or even shades of summer 2021. But one shouldn't get too wedded to fractals. Each cycle will play out differently. However, we are still in a bull market, which is also what I believe. Anyway, the story kind of went even crazier because GCR said that people were actually approached about this coin. Even he himself was approached to buy an early or get some tokens. Martin said, by who? I think you're thinking of someone else. Well, yeah, if he's the maker of the coin, then that seems unlikely. And a lot of people right now in crypto are, I guess, trying to save face because of some of this stuff they've done here. But a lot of people are turning against a lot of other people. Anyway, it makes you question, when is a coin, I guess, real? If in this discussion, right? And who won? Is it because, you know, if Barron was involved, I guess it's a official Trump type of coin if he's one of the guys behind it or endorsing it. Then again, if we all just claim he was, but nobody can really confirm except for people saying they can confirm, but we can't confirm from him himself, then I guess that doesn't really matter. And the other one is, if you create a coin for somebody else, that it's not officially that person's coin, I guess, right? Now, that gets more interesting because apparently on the private back and forwards, he said that Barron Trump would be enough. So if that is true, and this guy can prove it, things are going to get really interesting here because that means the guy has to pay up $100 million. And Martin Shkreli is saying, you know, he started a new stream and he said, hey, I need my bread. Let's get over with it. And people as a response to all this said, you know what? The problem is, though, Trump is the type of man, right? Love him or hate him, that would flaunt the success of this coin to his deathbed. Being like, I created the best coin, the crypto coin, 500 million, it's still very low. I don't know, I can't do him too well, but that's also what I would think, that you'd see it everywhere, that he created a coin Anyway, and so even though there's some screenshots left and right of people involved potentially knowing Barron, it's hard to say that he was actually involved. And even as at this point, the affiliation of Donald for the coin, right? Not for people, but even that, I guess, is still the matter at question. And I don't know if he's proven it and I haven't found it, but just saying, oh, I know him, and oh, somebody told me privately, I know people close to the matter. I don't know how that proves it. Then again, Martin says he has 1,000 pieces of proof, and he just wants Kobe or whatever to get involved so he can prove it. So, Anyway, a very interesting situation, and if something happens, I might follow up on it. Perhaps not because I forgot, I don't know. But for me, this has been like one of the craziest little back and forths in crypto in a long while. And I guess if every single crypto was pumping into oblivion this week, I probably wouldn't have had time to cover it because we're talking about the next big gainer. But since crypto is kind of like sidelined, we've got all the time in the world, baby. And this type of stuff, I don't know. I just think it makes me feel about crypto a certain type of way. And I think many people like to see this type of stuff. And a little side note, if you're wondering what's happening to NFTs, one of the biggest NFT, I'm going to call it, farming competitions on Blur just ended. You know, the season 3 is over. And a lot of people were mostly just buying and selling to get bidding points. And since it's over, a lot of people have no more reason to hold on, bid, and go crazy on these NFTs and keep the market going. So today was a pretty haunting day for those NFTs. Just a little side note if you're wondering why those specifically are bleeding. It's not the time for NFTs. They don't really have much excitement going on for right now. Longer term, I think the concept is still pretty good. But anyway, that's it for this little video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. And if you want an update, make sure you press that like button. And I'll see you guys again in another one.